Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, where we have conversations about education, leadership, and building a school of excellence. The goal on this show is to bring you clarity, up-level your mindset, and give you practical strategies and inspiration so you can show up with confidence and trust your decision-making. I'm Chana Wilshansky. I'm a mom of 4 under 10, a former New Yorker, and been in the early childhood field my entire life. And I'm so grateful that you've joined me for this conversation. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Schools of Excellence podcast. I am recording this episode with a little bit being under the weather. A little interesting story, actually. So Mayor and I were cutting the lawn yesterday. So at the time of this recording this on a Monday. And so Sundays is usually lawn day. And so we hadn't cut the lawn actually in a while due to lots of things going on in the house. And so Mayor was busy with the weed whacker and the hedger and the trimmer, and he was doing all the manicuring that needed to happen. And I jumped on the John Deere lawnmower and was cutting the grass. Now, for those of you that aren't Southerners or don't have giant lawns that you need to take care of, maneuvering a John Deere is not like driving a car. It is actually extremely laborsome and very physical on your hands, because every time you turn the wheel to continue to maneuver on the lawn, you're physically moving these 4 giant wheels, unlike in a car. So later that evening, as I was getting ready for bed, Mayor and I both felt like ridiculously sick. I don't know if it was from the lawn or if it was a body exertion, but basically all day today, we have just been completely shut out. But I really wanted to get this episode recorded for you guys. So I am feeling a lot better. My voice is still not the way it usually is, but you got to roll with it, right? And so this is, my time block for recording podcast. And so I want to make sure that I stick to this schedule because we have a lot of other things that are coming up this week, like at the time of this recording this week. So the week of July 12th, my team is flying in from all over the US, and we are going to be prepping an incredible upgrade to our Directors Inner Circle and our Owners HQ, which is super exciting. We're also going to be mapping out the final 6 months of the year, and I'm just really excited about all the things that we have coming up. So all that being said, this episode is the first episode of our first ever summer series on the Schools of Excellence podcast. So as I was looking at what July and August was going to look like, I really wanted to create a very specific summer series, something that was very tangible and focused on giving you something that was valuable to prep you guys for the new school year. So this is our first ever summer series, and this summer series is how to prepare for an amazing school year. So we have 6 episodes that are going to be specifically focused with actionable content and strategies to set you up for success. So if you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, make sure that you stop what you're doing right now and subscribe so that you never miss any of the summer episodes that are coming up. And if you haven't had a chance to rate or leave us a review on the Schools of Excellence podcast, I would so appreciate if you would take a couple minutes to do that for us as well. Really helps us rank higher and help other school leaders find out about this amazing show. So what is the first episode in the series about? Well, today's episode is the 8 guideposts to prepare you for an amazing school year. As we embark in the summer and we take this time off to rest and recover, we're also constantly thinking about the new school year. And when something is new, there's this opportunity for a fresh start. We're excited about the possibilities. And unfortunately, for so many people, while there's all this opportunity and possibility, for many people, it remains a dream. Because as the year gets closer and closer, we realize we have all these things that we have to do that we forget to actually create a plan for how we're going to execute on it. And so this has been a year where almost everything flies, right? When something didn't work, we're like, oh, it's COVID. When this didn't happen, oh, it's COVID. Everything had an excuse. And that's not the case anymore, very thankfully. And COVID is no longer an excuse for anything. And I've been saying this for months, but now it's really going to get real. COVID is not an excuse for not showing up or not doing something. What happened over this year is for many leaders and many staff, complacency has kicked in many places. And many staff have been running on fumes and surviving. Now, what happens in moments of survival is survival becomes a habit. Okay. Survival becomes a habit. And unless you intentionally decide, no more, no more am I going to survive, no more am I going to be in this survival mode. I am going to be a warrior. I am no longer going to be a victim of my circumstances. I'm going to warrior up. Well, what do warriors do? They rise back up again. They are resilient. They don't allow bad habits to persist for a long time. So I want to share with you these signs, these 8 signs of survival habits, because you're going to see yourself most probably in at least 2 or 3 of these. Now, the reason I call them these guideposts is because many times people don't realize that they're in survival mode. Many times people don't realize that they are actually struggling because they've been doing that for so long. It's all they know. It's all they know. It's all that they're comfortable with. And this is just the way that they do it. And so I want you to really pause and I want you to lean in here. Okay. So if you're driving, you're taking a run, like I want you to perk up in this moment here. Don't multitask for a second and really listen to these survival habits. So, number 1, everything is urgent. The deadline is now. Number 2, meetings and appointments are constantly canceled and rescheduled. Number 3, the stress is very overwhelming. Number 4, almost everything that you do is reactionary. Number 5, it's challenging to find the joy in day to day. Number 6, everything feels risky for you. Number 7, you can't take time for excellence. And number 8, you feel a constant need to play catch up. So I'm going to say them one more time because I think it's important to hear it again and see, okay, which one is most true for you right now? Number 1, everything is urgent. The deadline is now. Number 2, meetings and appointments are constantly canceled and rescheduled. Number 3, the stress is overwhelming. Number 4, almost everything is a reaction. Number 5, there is very little joy in the day to day. Number 6, everything feels risky. Number 7, you can't take the time for excellence. And number 8, you always feel the need to play catch up. So if you're feeling even 1 or 2 of these symptoms, you can bet that your staff are feeling the same. Okay. And I'm going to share with you some strategies of what's important to remember, how to really get out of survival mode. But one of the key things to remember, and I spoke about this in last week's episode on the podcast, of how to build your confidence and resiliency toolkit. And so if you haven't had a chance to check that out, definitely go check it out. I'm also going to link here in the show notes because I created a special training for you and your staff to help them build their confidence and resiliency toolkit. You can use it for professional development as you train your staff for the upcoming school year. The link is in the show notes. It's a special training just for staff where I walk them through the skills, the strategies, and the mindset to become more confident and more resilient. So definitely go check that out. So let's talk about some ways that you really get out of survival, right? Because getting out of survival is not a click of a button. It's not a switch because it's taking you months and months and years for many people to become so comfortable in survival that you're not even recognizing that you're in it. So today, I'm just going to focus on a couple of questions that will help you become more reflective. And over the course of this summer series, I'm going to be sharing some really powerful strategies to gear you up and set you up for success for the new school year. So the first question I always ask myself when I'm feeling like I'm in survival or I'm overwhelmed is, where can I lighten my load? What is currently on my plate and what can be immediately taken off, not delegated or transferred or anything like that. Just deleted. Just goodbye. You no longer are part of brain space in my head. So that's the first question. The second question is, where can I get help? Now, this is a question that's very hard for a lot of people to answer because they pride themselves on individuality. They pride themselves on being someone that can figure things out on their own. And it's very difficult for many people to ask for help. I will tell you, and one of the episodes in the summer series is going to be about how to create your own leadership philosophy. One of my definitions of leadership is your willingness to ask for help. Anyone on my team who displayed an unwillingness to be coached, to learn how to ask for help, is no longer part of my team. Every single member of Schools of Excellence, every team member who serves and takes care of our clients, from the operations to marketing to delivery to relationships to every department in our business, every single one of those people have a common quality, and that is their willingness to ask for help. It is a huge component of my leadership philosophy, and I'm going to explain that a lot in that episode that I'm going to record in the next couple of weeks. But the reason I'm bringing that up here is because when you're in survival mode, you cannot get out of it yourself. You cannot climb out of a ditch by yourself. You need someone to throw you the line. You need someone to help you get out. When you are in survival mode, you need help. You need help. And so my question to you is, where can you get help now? And help comes in many forms. I'm not talking only about where do I need to find community help or a mentor or a coach or advisor, or do I need to hire, more people on the team? I'm talking something as simple as, can you get someone to fold the laundry in your house once a week? Can you get someone to clean the bathrooms or, mop the floors? Help comes in so many forms. But in order to get out of survival, you need to ask for help. Okay? Some other questions. How are you currently taking care of yourself? What are some of the practices in your day where you're currently taking care of yourself? One of my first signs of being in survival is when I've neglected my journaling, my swimming time, my exercise, any of those things. Normally, when I'm sick, when I start feeling better, is when I immediately have to get myself out of survival. Because when I'm sick, I drop all these routines, right? I'm not exercising, I'm not meditating, I'm not doing any of those things. I am surviving. I'm sick. I have 100-degree fever, 103 today, and I'm in bed, right? I don't have 103 fever now. I wouldn't be recording this episode if I did. But I did this morning, right? I wasn't feeling well. And so it's survival, right? Something else to think about. When was the last time I exercised? Guys, physical wellness is a huge component of getting out of survival mode. It's huge. And we need exercise routines, whether that means walking around for 15 minutes around the building, whatever it is for you, whatever you can fit in, 15 minutes, exercise. And this is my all-time favorite question. What hobby have I removed from my life? And what am I doing to bring it back? When we're in survival mode, we've lost touch with ourselves. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten what brings us joy. We've forgotten what makes us really happy in our life. And when you think about what hobby have I removed from my life, you might be saying, well, I've never had a hobby to remove. Okay. Then what hobby do you want to introduce into your life? Really want you to think about that. These are a lot of questions to think about. And I really will encourage you to re-listen to this episode again and take notes, because these questions are really going to help you. They're going to help you to start to recognize how to get out of survival. And the reason this is the first episode in this series of prepping for an amazing school year is because I want you to nurture yourself over the summer to really break some of these survival habits, break the habits of being reactionary, of feeling that everything is urgent, meetings and appointments, like just living more in a flow state. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me for today's episode, the first one in our summer series. And I hope you join us again next week for our second episode in our summer series of how to prepare for an amazing school year. Thanks so much for joining me. If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school, I would love if you can do two things for me. One, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And two, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the place to learn how to build a school of excellence. And I would be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support makes this show to be able to be listened by the thousands of other school leaders all around the world. Thanks so much for listening, for giving us your time and attention each and every week, and I appreciate that you have joined us.